guys, it's Joanna again. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have the third episode in my Back to Basics series, and I'm going to be talking to you guys all about eyeshadows, building out your eye shape to get the wonderful eyelid appearance that we all want, but maybe some of us don't have as much, or just building up definition in your eye if you have that great eye shape already. So if you guys want to learn about how I do a very basic everyday neutral eye look, then keep watching. Before we get into the eyeshadow application, I do just want to take a quick second to shout out the first two videos in my Back to Basics series where I talk about my foundation and my base makeup and my eyebrows. So if you guys want to see either of those videos, you can click the little card that appears at the top of your screen, or go back to my channel and watch either of those, which come before you work on your eyeshadow. Now, let's get into eyeshadow. Before I apply anything to my lids, the most important thing for me is eyeshadow primer. I have very Asian eyes. There's no other way around that. I have hooded eyes and they're just more prone to smudging than any other kind of eye shape. But eye priming is important no matter what kind of eye shape you have, because you might have greasy eyelids that tend to transfer a little bit more. You might have eyelids like mine that transfer just because when you blink there's a lot more contact, or you might just want to use eyeshadow primer because it makes the pigments much more brighter and it just keeps your makeup on longer no matter what. So the primer that I have loved for years and is my go-to is the NARS Pro Prime Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. This locks in your eyeshadow basically forever. It's really foolproof, and all that I do is take a little amount on my ring finger and apply that to my lid. And this one has no pigment, so if you have a lot of pigmentation on your eyelid that you need to cancel out, you might want to apply a concealer first, or use an eyeshadow base that's different, that has some sort of pigmentation property to it. I really only wear neutral colors, and what I'm going to be showing you guys today in this video is how to carve out your eye shape and to just give your eyes a little more dimension. This works specifically well on me because, as I said, I don't have a really deep eye socket. I have hooded eyes, which tend to be a little more shallow. If you have really great eyelids that have like a super defined crease and stuff like that, this still applies. It just will be a little bit easier for you guys to achieve than someone like me who just has more of a flat plane that they're working with. To really carve out an eye shape, I love to use contouring shades. These are typically used for your cheeks and the rest of your face, and the palette that I'm going to be working with today is the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I kind of started using this honestly because the product didn't work for me on my cheeks. It broke me out, but on my eyes I don't have that same sensitivity, I guess. And I just love the colors that are in here. The shades that they have are just perfect for doing an everyday neutral eyeshadow look that doesn't look like you're wearing eyeshadow, but more just that you have good definition in your face. Before I get into actually applying the product to my face, I want to talk about the brushes that I use. For an eye look, I really recommend at least these three kinds of brushes. You can have more, but these will get the job done. I recommend having a couple sets of these so that way you can, swap out as you need and your brushes don't get too dirty or muddied, in case if you were to use a different shade or something like that, but this is the bare minimum that you will need. So these are three brushes. The first one, I don't have a name for this, but this is a more defined, fluffy shadow brush. It's pretty small, and I use this for everything from carving out the shape of my eye to really blending out that lower lash line, which is a huge deal in eyeshadow. The second is the Sigma Blending E25 brush. You can get this from Sephora, like a version of it, and a version from MAC, but essentially it's just a densely packed blending brush that is almost, I want to say like it's kind of pear-shaped, where like it blossoms at the top, but it's fairly flat on the sides. These are just really great. Look it up if you want to see the shape a little bit better. And then last but not least is a tapered blending brush. This is the Sigma E35. These are rounder, so it's like if you go 360, it doesn't get thinner at any point. and they're just really fluffy and great for really blending out an edge. So to start my eyeshadow application, I'm going to apply the base color first. I don't always do this first, but I feel like traditionally it's what you're supposed to do. So for my base, I'm going to be pulling this orangey shade and a little bit of the lightest taupe shade and just mix them together like so on my brush. And I'm going to just sweep this, patting it first on both eyelids and then blending it out. And I'm just bringing it across my whole eyelid. Like this. That's just going to give me a very even color and coverage to work with. Even out the shade of my eyelid and make the next color that I apply blend out a little bit smoother. So now I'm going to go in with that more definer fluffy brush, and I'm actually going to take the darkest shade in this palette. And why I actually love contouring shades is because they're all matte, so they work really well for carving out your eye. Now, what I like to do is kind of, you can feel where your eye socket is by gently pushing in, and that's really where you want to draw the line. Now, I have found that you want to keep the outside almost going up more than you would down, so you want to almost lift the eye socket out and then follow it in. Pushing the brush right into where you feel your socket and following it down towards the inner part of your eye, like so. So if you were to leave that, you essentially have just created a cut crease, and it looks a little bit crazy and it's a little more high fashion if you want to do it that way, and it's just not what I do. But I do like to apply the line pretty firmly across my lid. Then I'm temporarily done with that brush, and this is when I will go in either with another tapered blending brush, or what are these called? Either with just a blending brush or with my tapered blending brush. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to show you the tapered blending brush, which is the more round one. And what I will just do is just in back and forth motions, I will just blend that out. I try not to bring the product up. I try to bring it more down, so that way you still have a sharp line on the top, but not one on the bottom. And if you push this into your eye socket area, I find that that really just achieves it. You don't have to think about it too much, but it will just naturally bring the color more down than it will more up, if that makes sense. And contouring shades, compared to eyeshadows, I find you don't have to work to blend as much. They just naturally want to blend because they're supposed to with contouring, and they're more finely milled than your eyeshadows. The only drawback to that is that they will blend a little bit more during the day, and you might not want to wear them if you're doing like any kind of crazy event or something like that. But for a school day, it will last you through the school day. Now, since I've carved out the top of my eye, I also want to carve out the bottom. And I take that same dark shade and just apply it to my lower lash line, like so. And really blend it out. Like that. And that works so that way I don't have to apply any kind of eyeliner, unless if I want to say make it more dramatic. But if you guys can tell, the difference on my eyes is pretty dramatic. On this side, it looks like I have depth to my face. On this side, it looks like I've got no depth, which I don't naturally. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the other side and then come back to talk to you guys about highlighting. Okay, so now that the eyeshadow application is done as far as carving out my shape and my lids, I do want to talk about inner corner highlight, because that is something that I think really makes a difference in your eye makeup without being too dramatic, like with an eyebrow highlight or applying a shimmer all over your lid. For applying your inner highlight, I like taking a little eyeliner brush like this one. This is the Sigma Eyeliner EO5 brush. It's in a mini version that I have, but it just has the most defined tip ever and really great for applying your inner corner highlight right where you want it. The highlighter that I'm using is an actual face highlighter, and this is the Sigma Kitten highlighter. They do have an eyeshadow version of this, which I also use. I just like using the big highlighter because it's more dramatic, but yeah. So I will just take a little bit of that onto the brush, and I only keep it on one side of the brush, and then I will just apply it right to the inner tear duct like so. And why I love using a brush like this is because it doesn't get all over the place. I can really decide where I want to give myself a more dramatic color, and I just keep it right tight to the waterline in this tear duct. Okay, so that is it for how I apply my eyeshadow. If you guys want to see how I do my eyeliner to finish off my eyes and my mascara, then make sure that you're subscribed to my channel to see that video next in my Back to Basics series. Again, if you guys haven't seen those last videos, you can go ahead and follow through to my channel and go ahead and watch them there. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then make sure that you go ahead and do that by clicking the button down below. You can also give this video a like if you've liked it, and turn on my notifications if you want to get an alert every time that I upload a video on YouTube. So that is it for my Back to Basics in my eyeshadow, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!